Hey, welcome all by the Foundational Infrastructure Working Group meeting. That's a lot of things pending to merge. Yeah, let's go through them. This one has 2 approvals. Let's look at what it actually does. Seems useful. These are extensions of the, like, this is the track of work surrounding, like, improving the log collection from the Bosch director, I believe. Yeah. Okay, that's one. This is the code on the agent side. In this one has just one approval.
So the new type of Voxar system, we had the agent and job Vox.
Yeah, this is all to make it like easier to triage issues, right? So what we are seeing a lot is that when people are opening issues, we get like this bundle of logs, and these things are always missing. So we have to go ask if they want to add these things or get these logs. So this is a way for us to try to automate getting these logs. Yeah, so we can see here, it takes everything on the var log. But this one is waiting for another review. This one as well. Wait, isn't this the same PR? No, so these are different branches then? This is main. This is the the stuff that goes into the Xenial stem cell, I believe. This is a different branch. So I will go ahead and merge this into the other branch. Then we can wait for a proper review on the main, or there's already one review, but this is not gonna hit the open source. So. So yes, this one is waiting for an additional review. Interesting. People shouldn't be using Windows.
Yeah.
It's the root cause of this. Interesting.
I don't understand where this
where this is coming from, I don't know.
Because it's at the end and in the beginning, between SHA-256 and dot, and then.
Oh, but it's this here when switching from this to that.
Yeah, but I cannot see it in there where we
So
add the
in the
specific.
fix, you can see that.
He is just changing it. If window, it's fine by me, but it's just a string replace.
You mean who is generating the?
Yeah, who was generating it in the first place?
Yeah.
Was it? I don't think it was always like this.
Interesting naming. The fact that it's called SHA-1.
The whole crappy Porsche thing. You know, I worked on that package thing that we go from SHA-1 to SHA-256, and then you have SHA-1, and then within quote SHA-256, and then do the maybe that's what he's saying. Because we don't have everything falls under SHA-1. It's so maybe that's the problem. So basically, instead of doing this, we need to fix the whole thing where we say SHA-1. So we also need to maybe an attribute that's called SHA-256.
But this is just making sure that there's no colon in the path, right?
No, because we have when we have the attribute SHA-1, we put in there SHA-256 : the hash.
Yeah, I understand.
Instead of only of the hash, and that's because of we hard coded SHA-1 so much everywhere that this was the only way out.
Yeah,
for some people 4 years ago. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if this helps some people, then I'm happy to merge that. I mean, it's not nice, but I mean, like, we cannot ask for a full refactor of this stuff just to get it to work on Windows.
Well, it's an initial problem. It's a long running problem, right? But everyone just ignores it and just go with the flow.
It's not ignoring it. It's just not the most pressing thing.
Okay.
It's a prioritization problem. It's not ignoring it.
We prioritize it until 2037.
It's basically low priority work, right? Which means you probably never get to it.
Yeah, it's the docs. Looked good.
Oh, you already looked at it?
Yeah.
And this needs to be merged after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna keep this around. Oh, yeah, that's one.
Yeah, so okay, well,
Thanks, Long. 2 hours ago. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. There's no +1. Ugh. Okay, let's wait.
Yeah, rebase that. So basically, someone needs to review.
Okay, yeah, I will keep this open and then I'm gonna look at it later.
It can be merged to.
Two approvals, and this is the Bosch CLI. But we already had a PR like this, right?
No, no,
Oh,
there
it
are
was
multiple.
not.
There are multiple things.
Yeah, so this is the CLI part, but I thought that we already approved the PR. Or was this, maybe it came in last time and it was not approved yet. Now I have the approvals.
Oh, he needs to fix conflicts anyways. Okay, cool.
Waiting for changes on that one. This one we haven't looked at, right? Okay. This has been sitting there for a while. Need a bot to start pinging people. What's this? Oh. Yeah, this is just adding a concourse pipeline. Okay. Yes. Is there Seago related stuff? Why is GCC needed? Because no flags are passed, so. And it's running on just the Golang Alpine image.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything specific yet. So it only does run a unit test.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering why this line is needed.
Yeah, just ask.
He needs GCC. Because he's using Alpine. Although he uses Golang, so why?
Yeah, like that's okay.
Okay.
Just interested in knowing why that's there. Did you assign reviewers here? We have 2 reviewers now, so that's fine. No description. Oh, docs. Yeah, this is just for completeness sake, right? This is stuff that was already missing or was just missing. There's not even a description. Or just something like that. Okay, now we can go to issues.
Yeah, our AWS Light Stem Cells are in GP2. GP3 is less expensive. So this is a bit where I saw maybe we need to define something there. Although it's super weird because it isn't defined anywhere in here. But if you check EBS block devices, you can define the type. But the strange thing is that within the new SDKs, it's GP3 by default, but we are still putting it out as GP2.
Because we are still on a really old version of the SDK.
No, it doesn't seem so. In the Go mod, it seems like we're using rather new. Go mod.
Are we?
Let's check. I think we're running like.
Yeah, we're auto bumping, but are we also auto publishing? And are we actually using that image in CI?
I think it's just we are pulling this master branch and then we basically do a go run.
No, we do a go run. We're not
Yeah.
putting it in an image. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, we do a go run main and there we with some small configuration and then it's done. So I thought, yeah, maybe you, a person who has more knowledge of this code base, can take a look. But yeah, I walked through it like for 20 minutes and I thought this is the only place where it makes sense. Seems that Constantine has done some stuff, but
Who did the most recent comments? Long, Constantine, and
we'll try to ask Long maybe tomorrow if he has
Yeah.
some context on this.
I think that's your best shot. Okay. So last time we had a meeting, that was the 9th.
Next one, why Chun is here in the
This one, huh?
Yeah.
yeah, that's that one.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So we invested more on this issue. So what we first did is commit by commit create the dev release to check
Mhm.
which commit leads to that issue, and we find the commit is the new feature which rotates the Nets credential or Nets certificates in every create VM step or update VM instance step. And then we also did some deep dive into the code base. Then we find, so actually the rotation of the certificate lead to that issue. And we find one logic is, so there's a logic to rotate the password and also configure the new column in the database. So indicates whether the VM should use the new feature or not, but the configuration is not coincident with the, how to say, the database content. So I also wrote it in the response, and thank you, Biham, to review in the ticket.
Yeah.
I think that we decide somehow at the end of the PR to invert the default value of the feature.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
that is why it is so. So in the table says permanent NATS credentials,
For each VM is
and we
forced. Yeah.
we store that configuration which is coming from outside, and it is in configuration is basically when you want to disable it, you say false, and that in this way, and then you want the permanent NATS credentials, which is stored as false in the table. Yeah, a little bit.
And usually, so yeah, that confuses me a lot when I read through the PR, because it's named as permanent credential, right? But if it's set to true, that's not permanent. Is that then that will lead to the rotation of the credential of certificate? Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is an issue with that feature. The issue about why you cannot migrate the disk, I don't know.
Exactly. So currently there are still two questions. One question is why Ramon cannot replicate that issue. So I'm always thinking that question, but I still do not have an answer. And another question is why the Nets certificate rotation will lead to resizing or migrating disk issue. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I can maybe that it's rotated too quickly between the
Yeah. I also
between
have
the actions,
this,
and then
yeah.
it cannot have a proper
Exactly.
communication with the director or something. I don't know, but it's
I do not know. So because I'm not familiar with the Bosch and Bosch agent communication code part. So my assumption is, so when the agent rotates the certificate, it cannot immediately connect to the Bosch director, because what I see for the next configuration on the Bosch direct side is it first removes the old instance certificates, or and then add the new instance certificates. So I can see that the file length first goes smaller and then grow bigger. So there might be a time slot that this agent cannot communicate with the director, and the director maybe ask the agent to do some extra work, but the extra work is not done so far, then the agent receives the signal to resizing the disk, then it failed. Yeah, but there's only one assumption.
Yeah. So what I can imagine happening is maybe that, I don't know if that's the case, but so a new instance comes up with a
Mm.
new disk, and then while still bootstrapping and interacting with these disks, the rotate credential or the new NAS credentials come in, right? So these get applied and then the agent gets restarted. But it was maybe halfway through some process or some interaction with
Yeah.
these disks, right?
Yeah.
That is something I could imagine happening.
Yeah, could be.
Because the disks are busy, right? So
Now it says the disks are busy, but I think that is a red herring, but I don't think that's actually the case. But
Because
So
so what we have checked is we check whether there is a process to writing something to the disk or to the mounting point, but yeah, neither the case is true.
so if what I'm saying, if it's something with that, it should be during bootstrap, right? I don't think it shouldn't be accepting messages while still doing work.
well, when he comments out one specific part of that PR, then it all works, and it has specific to do with the update.
But is it still rotating the credential, the password or the
Mm,
NAS credentials, or is
I
it
don't
just
think-
not doing that?
No, if I comment that part, then it will not rotate the nets certificates, then everything works fine. So what I have seen
I
is,
understand, but then it's, yeah, we know it is that feature, but that doesn't like, we also need to understand
exactly.
why that feature is not working in this specific case, right? Because there's apparently a bug in the feature. There's setup raw ephemeral disks. And it's not ephemeral, this is persistent disks, root disks, subshare. So it compares persistent disks. So that's all happening during Bootstrap. So I'm wondering if during Bootstrap it's already interacting.
Not sure. And after the bootstrap push, it will immediately go into the migrating disk task, or
No, that should be a NATS message. So there should be a message coming from the director to go do that. But the agent will restart, so it will get the new credentials, then it will restart itself, then it will connect again, and then it will get the message to start migrating the disks.
okay.
But during that, compare persistent. So I have, based on the report you submitted, or the additional information you submitted yesterday, I've created a story in our backlog to look at this, because this proves at least that it is really related to this feature. So that work will start beginning next week, hopefully.
Okay, thanks.
But yeah, in the meantime, it's good to, and you should be unblocked, right? I assume you all have just like disabled this feature for now. in-
No, we stay on the old version because
That's also fine.
we so we also want to upgrade to the new version and disable the new feature, which is also acceptable. But when I read through the PR, I think the first we need to figure out whether the parameter in the database table and the data from outside from the config should be two different Boolean or they should stay the same Boolean, because that part also confused me a lot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then if we figure out that part, maybe we can also upgrade to the new version by disabling the new feature. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have nothing more to
Okay.
add. I think like I suspect there's something in the bootstrapping code, but I don't see it right now.
Mm.
But what you would be looking for is finding a place where it does something in a like a Go routine or something, like something asynchronous that's happening while another thing, like there must be a race condition like
Yeah.
that's causing this. So something is still processing, then the agent is restarted, so it doesn't like it's still in that like unfinished state while the agent gets restarted, and then it gets the message. I think it's something like that.
Okay. So the agent will only be reset when the settings is changed. Otherwise, the agent will always be alive. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it crashes. But like this is
Mm.
part of that net's credential rotation is like actively killing itself, right? It has a method where it kills itself and then restarts.
Mm. Okay, good to know. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we want to discuss? Tasks stay queued forever as an update. Question from Behan.
Yeah, I don't have Azure, so I don't know what they want me to do.
I mean, and we are testing Jammy against Azure, right?
Where? Oh,
Azure
yeah,
CPI.
And SAP is using Azure. It's working perfectly fine. The only thing I don't think they're doing is compilation. It's like export release. No one is testing the export. Maybe there's something weird in the export release thing, but specifically for Azure.
I don't know.
We didn't ask which version of the director they use.
No, they have like 2471 as the agent, and then
Yeah, this the agent and the stack.
director I think is also there.
But you mentioned something with the registry removal. If this is the case, somehow.
There's also something with the disk. Could be the new, but with the new director, it's also with Bionic. So And it's already like a month old, and a month ago that, well, it was in February, it was in 22 February when it was released, so could be.
What's up with that? Maybe it just has a really bad build or something.
Yeah, it's
But I'm like, how? There's all these like so many weird errors, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So he's rebuilding. Oh, but actually, this is it is all Bionic. Why aren't they using Jammy?
I think he mentioned somewhere that with Jamie. Can you search for Jamie? He mentioned.
Oh, yeah. And I wonder if you have the same issues with Jammy. He says yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And I thought maybe first it was in like how the Azure agent is using it, but in Jammy we're not using Azure agent anymore. We're switched over to Cloud Init. So and the only thing is that big case of Constantine.
but-
That's the only thing I could maybe where it would something would end up.
But this is quite a big interval. So what's the minimum thing to reproduce it? So anything above this?
No?
well, yeah, he's mentioned in the comment above. I rebuilt stems with the version of Bosch Agent 2. Bosch Agent. Somehow the last stems are working for him. What is with that agent? Is
It'd be nice to know if we can reproduce if that version works, right? So if that version works and that version doesn't work, then we know it must be in this commit. This is just a dependency bump.
yeah. Maybe we can ask to find the exact agent version where it breaks.
Yeah.
So that we can figure it out.
Yeah, it would be nice to narrow it down.
Yeah. Because it works for us, we don't see any issues at SAP, at least with Jammy.
Okay. Is there any other business?
One update about the downgrading Bosch from .2
Mhm.
version to .1. So yeah, we didn't do the down, how to say, the down block for the database migration code because we have one question. So if there is a down block in the database migration code, but in the old version does not contain that database migration code, right? Where it works in some kind of like stopping or post stop process, or it will fail again. That's what we are not sure.
Sorry, could you repeat that question? So if you
So if I add the down, do, and
Mhm.
block here, but the file is not included in the old version, right? So if I downgrade the Bosch release from an upper version to a lower version, the file is not there, will it still executes the down block, or it will still complain the file is not there?
I'm assuming you're performing it down on the newer version, and then
Okay,
you're
so which
rolling
means
back, right? So you stop the director, so there's no interaction with the database. You then downgrade the database, and then you recreate the director with an older
okay.
version. Because you cannot
So
perform down
the
migrations that are not for which you don't have the files, right?
okay, so the database migrate, so it will detect, oh, I'm doing an downgrade, then it will search in this file whether there is a down block. If yes, then it will execute it in the database and then recreate the VM with the old version. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you just performed basically the reverse steps, right? Because when you do a create and with a newer version, you create the instance, and then when it starts up, it will migrate the database to a newer version, right? So you have to do that in reverse order. So first downgrading the data or do a down migration, and then recreating with the older version.
And if I do it in this way, should I also add one query, something like delete the migrated file in the schema migration table, something like that? Because as far as I know, if there is such kind of file, it will also be added into the schema migration table, right, in Postgres.
I believe the SQL migration will take care of that.
Okay, yeah.
So if you go through the down step, it will make sure it does that.
Okay, yeah, good to know. Thanks.
But I mean, like, there's a lot of documentation actually on this stuff. So yeah, I would suggest reading a bit of this.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then we could maybe end early.
Max asked me to ask whether we can move the time slot of this meeting earlier because maybe he cannot join today because it's too late for him and also for other team members.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, like, that's a bit of the. I think this time slot was chosen because this allows people from the US to join. And I think we want to keep that option. Like, it's not often, but for example, Benjamin sometimes joins, who's doing the syslog stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's ideal to change it to earlier because that's not really nice for our US colleagues.
Yeah. But would it be possible some kind of like 1 hour before or?
I think you missed the the people in San Francisco then, right? Like then it would be too early for them.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is really driven by time zone math. So.
Okay.
This is something else. Okay.
Good. See you
Then
later.
Yeah,
see you
see
all
you.
later. Thank you. Bye.
Nice evening. Bye bye.
Bye.